Malaysia gets skipped by more travelers than almost any other country in Southeast Asia, and that is exactly why it might be the best trip you will ever book, because the crowds are somewhere else entirely. This is a country that packs glass skyscrapers, colonial old towns, rainforest older than the Amazon, and some of the best street food on the planet into a single Southeast Asian nation. Most people fly right past. We are counting down the 10 best places to visit in Malaysia in 2026, from island beaches to jungle canopy walks, and ranking them by what actually makes a trip unforgettable. Stick around for number 1 because it is the city that convinces most first-time visitors to book a return trip before they have even left. Save this video now because you will want this list the moment you start planning. Number 10 is Genting Highlands, a mountaintop resort city sitting nearly 2,000 meters above the heat of Kuala Lumpur, reached by a cable car ride that is genuinely one of the best rides in the country on its own. Locals head up here just to escape the tropical humidity, since temperatures at the top can sit a full 10 degrees cooler than the capital, sitting only an hour away by road. The resort complex includes casinos, theme parks, and an entire indoor entertainment district, making it one of the only places in Malaysia where you can go from jungle views to roller coasters in the same afternoon. Sky World's theme park sits right at the summit, with rides themed around global blockbuster franchises, giving families a full day of entertainment without ever leaving the mountain. The cable car itself, called the Genting Skyway, stretches over 3 kilometers and climbs through cloud forest, and on a clear day the views stretch out over the entire Klang Valley below. Because it sits so close to Kuala Lumpur, Genting Highlands works perfectly as a single-day trip, though staying overnight lets you catch the mountain at sunrise, when the cloud layer sits below the resort itself. Food courts here mix Malaysian, Chinese, and international options, reflecting the resort's role as a gathering spot for visitors from across the region rather than just domestic tourists. The temperature drop alone makes this a popular escape during Malaysia's hottest months, when Kuala Lumpur regularly climbs into the mid-90s and the mountaintop stays comfortably mild. Whether you come for the rides, the cooler air, or simply the cable car ride itself, Genting Highlands proves Malaysia has more range and elevation and climate than most visitors expect. First World Plaza connects the theme park to a sprawling indoor mall, so on the rare rainy afternoon visitors can shift straight from outdoor rides to air-conditioned shopping without losing a single hour of the trip. Because the resort sits so high above the haze that sometimes settles over the Klang Valley, sunrise photos from the summit routinely rank among the most striking shots visitors bring home from anywhere in the country. Number 9 is Ipoh, a former tin mining boom town that has quietly become one of Malaysia's best food cities, without the crowds that have overwhelmed better-known destinations. The old town is packed with colonial-era shophouses, many now converted into cafes and street art murals, giving Ipoh a photogenic charm that feels almost untouched by mass tourism. Ipoh's food scene alone is worth the trip. The city is famous nationwide for its silky bean sprout chicken, white coffee, and salted chicken. Dishes locals will argue are the best versions in the country. Limestone karsts surround the city on nearly every side, hiding cave temples like Perak Tong and Sam Po Tong, where Buddhist shrines sit carved directly into the rock beneath towering cliff faces. Concubine Lane, a narrow alley in the old town, packs in traditional snacks, souvenir shops, and photo backdrops within a stretch barely wide enough for 2 people to pass. Because Ipoh sits almost exactly between Kuala Lumpur and Penang, it works perfectly as a stopover, letting travelers break up a longer road trip with a day or 2 of exploring. The city's white coffee, made using a distinct roasting method with margarine instead of standard methods, has become so famous it is now sold in cafes across the entire country. Ipoh's cooler cave temples also serve as a shaded escape from Malaysia's heat, with some caves large enough to house entire gardens and koi ponds inside their chambers. For travelers who want a food-focused trip without the crowds of Penang, Ipoh delivers arguably the best value meals in the entire country. The Kelly's Castle ruins just outside town, an unfinished colonial mansion abandoned mid-construction in the 1920s. Add a slightly eerie side trip for anyone curious about the region's tin mining history. Because the city sees far fewer tourists than Penang or Kuala Lumpur, prices for food, lodging, and taxis all run noticeably lower, making Ipoh one of the best value stops on this entire list. Number 8 is the Genting Highlands, a sprawling hill station covered in rolling tea plantations that feels more like the English countryside than tropical Southeast Asia. The BOHT estate is the highlight for most visitors, offering tours through the plantation with views stretching across valley after valley of neatly trimmed tea bushes. Strawberry farms dot the highlands as well, a novelty in a tropical country, and many let visitors pick their own strawberries before stopping for strawberry ice cream at the farm cafe. Cooler temperatures here, often sitting in the 60s year-round, make hiking genuinely comfortable. And several jungle trails wind through mossy forest to waterfalls and viewpoints above the tea estates. The mossy forest, a stunted cloud forest near the highest peaks, feels almost otherworldly, with gnarled trees draped in moss and orchids growing directly from the branches. Local markets sell produce grown nowhere else in Malaysia, thanks to the cool climate, including fresh strawberries, passion fruit, and vegetables more common to temperate countries. Butterfly gardens and rose gardens scattered through the highlands make for easy, low-effort stops between the bigger plantation and hiking attractions. The drive up through the highlands passes through dense jungle before opening suddenly into a patchwork of tea terraces, one of the more dramatic landscape shifts anywhere in the country. For travelers craving cool air and green hills after days in Malaysia's tropical heat, the Genting Highlands offer one of the most refreshing changes of scenery in the entire region. Honeybee farms are another highland specialty, with covered hives you can walk right up to, and most farms let visitors sample the honey directly from the comb before buying a jar to take home. Because temperatures here rarely climb out of the 70s, even at midday, the Genting Highlands work well as a base for 2 or 3 days of easy hiking without ever fighting jungle heat. Number 7 is Taman Negara, a national park protecting rainforest scientists believe is older than the Amazon, making it one of the oldest untouched ecosystems left on the planet. The park's canopy walkway is the main draw for most visitors, a swaying rope bridge suspended high above the forest floor, offering a rare bird's-eye view into the rainforest canopy. Wildlife here includes elephants, tapirs, and even the occasional tiger, though most sightings on guided walks tend to be gibbons, hornbills, and monitor lizards along the riverbanks. Getting into the park typically means a boat ride up the Tembeling River, a journey through dense jungle that already feels like an adventure before you even set foot on a trail. Night jungle walks let visitors spot nocturnal wildlife with a guide, from glowing fungi to sleeping birds, an experience that reveals a side of the rainforest invisible during the day. Orang Asli indigenous communities live within and around the park, and some guided tours include visits to learn traditional blowpipe hunting and forest survival skills passed down for generations. Multi-day treks exist for more serious hikers, including routes up to Gunung Tahan, the tallest peak in peninsular Malaysia, though most visitors stick to shorter day hikes near the park headquarters. Accommodation ranges from riverside chalets to more basic jungle hides positioned near salt licks, where patient visitors sometimes catch glimpses of larger wildlife after dark. For anyone who wants genuine ancient rainforest without the crowds of more famous parks elsewhere in Southeast Asia, Taman Negara delivers an experience few other destinations in the region can match. Fishing trips along the river are another popular add-on, with local guides pointing out kela, a prized freshwater fish species in pools tucked beneath the overhanging jungle canopy. Because the park protects such a vast stretch of untouched rainforest, even a short day trip from the headquarters can feel like stepping into a documentary about the natural world. Number 6 is Malacca, also spelled Malacca, a UNESCO World Heritage City whose old streets carry the fingerprints of Portuguese, Dutch, and British colonial rule layered on top of centuries of Malay and Chinese trade. The Stadhuis, a striking red Dutch colonial building from the 1700s, anchors the historic center and remains one of the most photographed landmarks in the entire city. Jonker Street comes alive after dark as a night market, packed with street food stalls, antique shops, and live performances that spill out into the narrow lane every weekend. Malacca's river, once the lifeline of a trading empire that connected China, India, and the Middle East, now hosts scenic boat cruises past colorful murals painted on the riverside buildings. A Famosa, the ruins of a Portuguese fortress from the early 1500s, stands as one of the oldest surviving European structures anywhere in Asia. The city's Peranakan heritage, a fusion of Chinese and Malay culture developed by early traders who settled and intermarried locally, shows up everywhere from the architecture to the distinctly spiced local cuisine. Climbing St. Paul's Hill rewards visitors with panoramic views over the city and the Strait of Malacca, the narrow shipping lane that made this city one of the most fought-over ports in history. Chicken rice balls, a Malacca specialty where rice is hand-rolled into golf ball-sized portions, are worth seeking out and cannot easily be found anywhere else in Malaysia. Malacca sits close enough to Kuala Lumpur for an easy day trip, but its layered history genuinely rewards spending at least one full night wandering the old town after the day trippers have left. The Baba Nyonya Heritage Museum, set inside a beautifully preserved Peranakan townhouse, gives a genuine look at how wealthy trading families actually lived here more than a century ago. Because so many empires left their mark here, Malacca packs Portuguese forts, Dutch buildings, British administrative offices, and centuries-old Chinese temples, all within a walk of 10 or 15 minutes. Number 5 is Malaysian Borneo, home to Mount Kinabalu, the tallest mountain in the country, and one of the most climbable major peaks in all of Southeast Asia. Climbing Kinabalu typically takes 2 days, with hikers overnighting partway up before pushing to the summit before dawn to catch sunrise above the clouds from the granite peak. Beyond the mountain, Borneo is one of the last places on Earth where wild orangutans still roam free, and sanctuaries like Sepilok let visitors watch rehabilitated orangutans up close in their natural habitat. The Kinabatangan River offers wildlife cruises where pygmy elephants, proboscis monkeys, and hornbills are regularly spotted along the banks, making it one of the best wildlife viewing rivers anywhere in Asia. Kota Kinabalu, the gateway city, mixes waterfront night markets with easy access to nearby islands, making it a comfortable base before or after a jungle expedition. Diving off Sipadan Island, ranked among the best dive sites in the world, draws serious divers into waters filled with turtles, barracuda schools, and dramatic underwater drop-offs. The Kinabalu Park surrounding the mountain protects one of the richest concentrations of plant species on the planet, including the enormous Rafflesia flower, the largest bloom in the world. Because Borneo sits separate from peninsular Malaysia, reaching it requires a short flight. But the wildlife and landscapes here feel like an entirely different country compared to the mainland. For travelers chasing genuine wilderness, wild orangutans, and one of Asia's great mountain climbs, Malaysian Borneo offers an adventure unlike anything else on this list. Climbing permits for Kinabalu are strictly limited and often sell out weeks in advance during peak season, so booking that portion of the trip early matters more here than almost anywhere else on this list. Beyond the wildlife and the mountain, Borneo's night markets in Kota Kinabalu serve up fresh seafood pulled straight from the South China Sea, grilled to order right at the waterfront stalls. Number 4 is the Perhentian Islands, a pair of small islands off the northeast coast with water so clear it regularly gets compared to the best beaches in the Caribbean. There are no cars on either island, and much of the interior remains dense jungle, giving the Perhentians a genuinely unplugged feeling that is increasingly rare across Southeast Asia. Snorkeling directly off the beach here regularly turns up reef sharks and sea turtles, a rare combination that usually requires a boat trip anywhere else in the region. The islands split into a busier side popular with backpackers and a quieter side favored by couples and families, letting travelers pick their pace before even booking a resort. Diving schools here are known for being some of the most affordable in Southeast Asia, making the Perhentians a popular spot for travelers getting their open water certification. Monsoon season closes most resorts entirely between November and February, so timing a visit for the dry season between March and October matters more here than almost anywhere else on this list. Turtle nesting season brings researchers and volunteers to the islands, and some beaches allow visitors to watch hatchlings make their first crawl to the water under careful supervision. Getting here requires a speedboat transfer from the mainland town of Kuala Lumpur, a bumpy but short ride that acts as a natural filter, keeping the crowds smaller than more accessible islands. For travelers chasing that increasingly rare, untouched island feeling, the Perhentian Islands remain one of the best-kept secrets in all of Southeast Asia. Because there is no ATM on either island, most travelers withdraw cash on the mainland before boarding the speedboat, one of the small logistical details that keeps the crowds thinner than they otherwise would be. Hammocks strung between palm trees along nearly every beach make the Perhentians one of the easiest places in the country to genuinely do nothing for a few days. Number 3 is Penang, and specifically its capital, Georgetown. Widely considered the food capital of all of Malaysia and one of the best street food cities anywhere on Earth. Georgetown's Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, packed with colonial shophouses, ornate Chinese clan temples, and colorful street art murals hidden down nearly every alley. Char kway teow, asam laksa, and Hokkien mee are all dishes locals will argue. Penang does better than anywhere else in the country, and hawker centers here run late into the night. The Penang Hill Funicular Railway climbs steeply up to cooler air and panoramic views over Georgetown and the strait separating the island from mainland Malaysia. Kek Lok Si, one of the largest Buddhist temple complexes in Southeast Asia, sits on the hillside above town, its pagoda visible from much of Georgetown below. Planned jetties, waterfront settlements built on stilts by Chinese immigrant families generations ago, still house residents today and offer some of the most unique photo opportunities in the city. Batu Ferringhi Beach on the island's north coast offers a more relaxed resort experience for travelers who want to balance the food scene with a few days by the water. Street art scavenger hunts have become a genuine tourist activity here, with murals by artist Ernest Zakarevic scattered throughout the old town, each one a popular photo stop. Whether you come purely for the food or stay for the layered colonial history, Penang consistently ranks among travelers' favorite stops in all of Malaysia. The Penang Bridge and the newer second link connect the island to the mainland, but most visitors never bother with a car, since Georgetown's compact old town is best explored entirely on foot. Cendol, a shaved iced dessert with palm sugar syrup and green rice jelly, is practically a religion here, and locals will happily argue for 20 minutes about which stall makes the best version. Number 2 is Langkawi, an archipelago of over 90 islands off Malaysia's northwest coast, and the country's most famous beach destination by a wide margin. Langkawi is a duty-free island, meaning alcohol, chocolate, and electronics all sell noticeably cheaper here than anywhere else in Malaysia, a detail that surprises plenty of first-time visitors. The Sky Bridge, a curved pedestrian bridge suspended nearly 2,000 feet above the rainforest, connects to a cable car ride offering some of the best panoramic views in the entire country. Mangrove tours through the Kilim Geoforest Park let visitors spot eagles, monkeys, and monitor lizards while gliding through limestone caves and tunnels of rainforest along the water. Pantai Chenang, the island's main beach strip, mixes soft white sand with a lively stretch of restaurants, bars, and water sports, making it the default base for most first-time visitors. Island hopping tours out to Pulau Dayang Bunting, home to a freshwater lake locals call the Lake of the Pregnant Maiden, are one of the most popular day trips from the main island. Langkawi's legend claims the island was cursed for generations, and locals still point to the tomb of Masuri, a folk heroine whose story is tied to the island's mythology as a must-see cultural stop. Sunset cruises here are considered some of the best in Southeast Asia, with boats timing their routes to catch the sun dropping behind the limestone karsts scattered across the strait. Between the duty-free shopping, the cable car views, and some of the most reliably beautiful sunsets in the country, Langkawi earns its reputation as Malaysia's premier island escape. Underwater world Langkawi, a large aquarium in the middle of the main tourist strip, gives families an easy rainy day option packed with sharks, penguins, and a walk-through underwater tunnel. Because flights connect Langkawi directly to Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, and several regional hubs, it is entirely possible to fly in, spend a few days on the beach, and fly out without ever touching the mainland. Direct flights also connect Langkawi to a growing number of international cities, making it increasingly common for travelers to start or end an entire Southeast Asia trip right here on the island. Number 1 is Kuala Lumpur, the capital city that convinces most first-time visitors Malaysia deserves far more attention than it usually gets on a Southeast Asia itinerary. The Petronas Twin Towers remain the tallest twin towers on Earth, and the sky bridge connecting them at the 41st floor offers a view over the city that few skyscrapers anywhere can match. Batu Caves, a limestone hill temple complex just outside the city center, requires climbing 272 brightly painted steps guarded by a towering golden statue at the base. Jalan Alor transforms into one of the best night food streets in Asia after dark, with plastic tables spilling into the road as vendors grill sauté and stir-fry noodles late into the night. The city's colonial core, centered around Merdeka Square, blends Moorish-influenced architecture with Malay, Chinese, and Indian neighborhoods that sit within walking distance of each other in a way few capital cities manage. KL Tower offers a quieter alternative to the Petronas Towers for skyline views, including a revolving restaurant and, on clear evenings, a skydeck open-air platform near the very top. Central Market and Chinatown's Peddling Street give shoppers everything from local crafts to bargain electronics, while nearby Little India delivers an entirely different sensory experience within a few blocks. The city's public transit, including a modern monorail and metro system, makes Kuala Lumpur one of the easiest Southeast Asian capitals to explore without ever needing a rental car. Perdana Botanical Gardens and the nearby Lake Gardens offer a genuinely green escape minutes from the skyscrapers, complete with an orchid garden and a free-flight aviary. With world-class food, some of the best value luxury hotels in Asia, and a skyline that rivals any capital on the continent, Kuala Lumpur is the single best argument for putting Malaysia on your next trip. Five-star hotels here regularly cost a fraction of what comparable rooms run in Singapore or Hong Kong. One of the reasons Kuala Lumpur has quietly become a favorite stopover for travelers connecting through Asia. Whether it is your first stop or your last, Kuala Lumpur ties this entire list together, proving a country most travelers overlook can still deliver one of the best capital cities in all of Asia. That is our countdown of the 10 best places to visit in Malaysia in 2026. A country that somehow still flies under the radar despite having almost everything a traveler could want. Which one of these 10 would you visit first? The islands, the rainforest, or the cities? Tell us in the comments below. If this guide helped you plan a trip to Malaysia, please like this video and subscribe for more honest, in-depth travel guides from our small channel. Aloha, and thank you for watching, and thank you from Kahana Designs. Until next time, safe travels and sweet dreams.